Sophie Cunningham came to the Indiana Fever in the offseason. She's been taking full advantage of every opportunity she's got. An opportunity on the court, ballin'. An opportunity to protect Caitlin Clark, did that. Off the court, endorsement deals. Off the court, advertisers are falling in love with her. We got Colin Cowherd saying, hey, Sophie, you want your own podcast? Sophie Cunningham says, sure, I'll take my own podcast. And what has Sophie Cunningham been doing?
Sophie Cunningham isn't just playing basketball. She's owning the WNBA spotlight, both on and off the court. And her rise to the top has been nothing short of explosive.
Now everybody knows who Sophie Cunningham is. Everybody wants a piece of Sophie Cunningham. Her jersey is the #1 selling jersey in the WNBA. Sold out. Now, why is that significant? I'll tell you. Because her jersey surpassed the all-time woman, Caitlin Clark. The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, got her jersey surpassed by Sophie Cunningham.
From gritty role player to the hottest star in the league, Sophie's transformation is turning heads everywhere. And it all started with a few bold moves that nobody saw coming.
There's a lot happening here. Sophie needed to get that off of her chest. The referees are treating her like a princess. She might as well be wearing a tiara. It's never really a winning mentality. She's made it clear she's not afraid to get a fine. The one thing that it seems that WNBA players can agree on is the officiating sucks in the WNBA. She knows how to play the game, and her game is translating just nicely to the professional ranks.
But here's the real shocker. It's not about the stat sheet. It's about dominance, presence, and a cultural takeover that's making Sophie Cunningham unforgettable. If you're still watching already, drop Sophie Rules in the comments so we know you're riding with us. So how does a player averaging just a handful of points a night become one of the most talked about names in the league? The answer is part transformation, part attitude, and part marketing genius.
I think I can be bitchy. I don't know that I'm
Right? That is a big distinction.
And to understand Sophie's takeover, you have to start with where she came from, because her glow-up has been nothing short of wild. When Sophie first entered the league, she wasn't known for flashy outfits or viral videos. She was known for grit. She'd scrap for rebounds, hit the deck for loose balls, and bring that edge every coach loves. But lately, she's been turning heads for a whole new reason. The muscles are leaner, the footwork sharper, and her style louder than ever. You can feel it before she even steps on the court. Watch her walk into the tunnel now and it's game over. She doesn't just belong in the WNBA, she owns every moment she's in it.
Yeah, right? No, got to sleep in today.
Her body transformation isn't an accident. She's worked on her strength, refined her movement, and built a frame that's both fierce and feminine. It's become impossible to talk about Indiana Fever basketball without mentioning how Sophie looks and moves when she enters the arena. But make no mistake, this isn't vanity. This is presence. Players can put up points, but Sophie's doing something more powerful. She's becoming unforgettable. And then came the moment. June. United Center. Sophie walks in wearing a tight white tee that says, "Hot girls eat Arby's," a short black miniskirt, and knee-high boots. The cameras flashed, social feeds lit up, and within 24 hours, that shirt sold out on Arby's website. Small and large sizes, gone first.
Anyway, she is now on the Arby's payroll, is what is happening. And maybe Arby's is going to snap back to relevance now. Here she is in the new shirt that we saw her in this weekend. Hot girls eat Arby's. And apparently sizes small and large have already sold out on the Arby's web. This is a big day for Arby's.
This wasn't a random fashion choice. It was a brand deal, sparked by a viral TikTok she'd made reviewing their food.
So we're gonna food review Arby's. Okay, we have curly fries. Didn't fill it to the top, but that's okay. a couple sliders. Oh my god, how much did I order? Honestly, not looking so bad. Okay, this is it. A little. But overall, I think I'm gonna go ahead and give Arby's a solid 9 out of 10.
In one tunnel walk, she pulled off a cultural reset. She looked confident, sexy, completely in control, and proved you can ball out, cash checks, and look fine doing it.
We don't want to use and abuse it.
If you haven't seen Sophie's TikTok, you're missing half the show. Locker room dances, gym flexes, roasting refs, laughing with teammates. It's raw, chaotic, and unfiltered. And that's her superpower. She's not chasing clout, she's creating it. Case in point, a $500 fine from the league for a post-game TikTok criticizing officiating. She didn't yell or name names, just sarcasm and sharp edits.
Stupid. Or is it slow? Maybe it's useless.
The internet exploded. 1.3 million views in days. Fans flooded the comments praising her for saying what others wouldn't. Instead of hurting her, that fine made her more relatable, more respected, and way more followed.
Why? Because Sophie Cunningham stood up for Caitlin Clark. She did all of these Instagrams. She did all of this stuff. And next thing you know, it all didn't matter. It didn't matter. I mean, I'm looking at her Instagram now. She's on the beach half naked. Didn't matter. You know what's now matters? That she had her moment. 591,000 followers on Instagram. That's right. Now people are recognizing, like our Clay Travis. Man, she's hot as hell. People are now saying, wait a second, give me more. Here, she takes her clothes off again. She did all that and got a lot of views. I mean, she was very popular.
And while she's not dropping 25 points every night, Sophie changes the energy the moment she checks in. The pace picks up. The defense tightens. The communication gets sharper. She's calling out mismatches, hyping rookies, challenging vets, and making sure no one on her team plays soft. One moment summed it all up. June 17th, Fever versus Connecticut. Caitlin Clark gets poked in the eye under the rim. The arena gasps. Sophie storms in and shoves JCS Sheldon to the ground. No hesitation. The ref calls a flagrant. She gets ejected. But the crowd, electric.
And with that, you guys, you can hear it in the video right here. The Indiana Fever fans were chanting, Sophie, Sophie. Sophie's jersey is gonna sell out tonight.
The team, united. That shove wasn't about anger, it was about culture, sending a message that you don't mess with Indiana, and you definitely don't mess with Sophie's teammates. Her impact has gotten so big that Jeannie Buss, co-owner of Women of Wrestling, publicly invited her to join.
But the owners of WOW, Women of Wrestling, have offered Sophie Cunningham a position. After this just came out over the last couple of days, but it stems back from the incident we were talking about with the Connecticut Sun. Indiana Fever forward Sophie Cunningham drew notoriety when she defended her superstar teammate Caitlin Clark with a flagrant foul and subsequent skirmish against the Connecticut Sun in June. This prompted Women of Wrestling founder and co-owner David McLean, speaking at the panel at the San Diego Comic-Con on Friday, to posit that Cunningham would be a fit for wrestling. It comes after Cunningham issued a savage response to a WNBA fine on a TikTok video.
Think about that. A WNBA player so magnetic that wrestling wants her star power. This isn't just a hot streak. This is a redefinition of what it means to be a marketable athlete in 2025. Strong, stylish, savage. From Arby's deals to viral shoves, Sophie's building a lane no one else is in. And she's not waiting for permission. The WNBA is searching for its next generation of stars. And while some are hoping to be chosen, Sophie Cunningham is choosing herself. She's not asking for the spotlight, she's wearing it. And whether she's cashing a brand deal, pulling off a tunnel fit that breaks the internet, or defending her teammates in the heat of battle, one thing is certain. We're not just watching a player anymore, we're watching a takeover. So, what do you think? Is Sophie Cunningham the new face of the WNBA? If you're still watching, drop Sophie rules in the comments so we know you're part of the movement. And if you enjoyed this, hit like, subscribe, and keep your notifications on because Sophie's just getting started and you don't want to miss what's next.
So lads, today's game against the Wings was a bad one. A bad loss. Pissed at Stephanie White. I'm pissed at the referees. It was just a bad loss. It was a bad loss. However, today we're going to be talking about two of the really weird calls the referees made at the end of the game.
Aaliyah Boston walked off the court fuming, and for good reason. The Indiana Fever had clawed back from 17 points down without Caitlin Clark and had the win right in their hands. But in the closing seconds, corrupt WNBA referees ripped it away.
Today, it's bad enough when you have the referees being so incompetent, so inconsistent, clearly calling things one way for a certain player and calling it another way for another player. Paige Beckers can land on somebody's foot, flagrant foul, 3 free throws and the ball back. Kelsey Mitchell can land on somebody's foot, just a common foul. Here, go take your free throws, and Dallas Wings will take the ball the other way.
Blown calls, blatant double standards, and one of the most controversial finishes of the season. And we have the full breakdown. Before we get to the call that left Boston furious and Fever fans livid, you need to see how this game spiraled into chaos, because the ending only made sense when you understood how much this team had already been fighting just to have a chance.
And of course, the other night we were sitting back watching the Dallas Wings game, and yes, no doubt, it was once again one of the worst officiated games you will ever see in your entire life. Should the Fever have lost to the Wings under any circumstance? No, not at home. And should the Fever ever in life had a 19-0 run put on them at home? Never in life. But that does not take away from the fact that I believe we have finally found a player in the league that's got a more special whistle than Asia Wilson.
Indiana entered this matchup with Dallas without a single one of their top 3 point guards. Caitlin Clark, out since July with a groin injury. Sydney Colson, torn ACL. Ari McDonald, broken foot. All season-ending injuries for Colson and McDonald. That meant the Fever had no natural ball handler, no one to absorb full court pressure, no one to run their offense the way it was built to run. The emergency solution? Shift Kelsey Mitchell out of her natural scoring role and into lead guard duties. And that meant every inbound, every set, and every trip up the court started with her. The result? 17 turnovers, converted into 27 Dallas points.
All I gotta say, Dallas, it's your 9th game of the season. Indiana won the series 3-1. They won it 3-1. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. All you had to do was, go 2-2 against a Fever team without Caitlin Clark. And you lost 3-1. You lost 3-1 to a Caitlin Clarkless Fever team. And it took them losing all of their point guards for you to win. It took the Fever losing every one of their point guards for you to win. That's what it took.
That's over a quarter of their offense gifted to the Wings before the Fever could even get set. But somehow, Indiana fought back. In the fourth quarter, the Fever exploded, outscoring Dallas 25-4. Kelsey Mitchell led the charge with 24 points, hitting 4 of 7 from deep.
Doesn't get the whistle. Indiana with numbers the other way. Mitchell in the corner. Timeout Dallas. Briscoe Clan is furious about the non-call on the Beckers' attempted layup as Mitchell cashes in.
Sophie Cunningham played with edge, scoring 14 and diving for loose balls.
From Aisha Hines-Allen off the bench. Mitchell sprints into the lane, finds Cunningham. She got it on a three, and it's a single-digit deficit.
How about the awareness of Kelsey Mitchell?
Chloe Beebe was perfect from three, knocking down all three of her attempts in just 12 minutes.
Gets it back, 4 to shoot. Cunningham into the corner. Bibby. Chloe Bibby breathing life into Indiana at a time they're really struggling to score.
Even Aaliyah Boston, battling constant contact in the paint, muscled her way to 14 points and kept the Fever's inside game alive when outside shots weren't falling.
It just seems like a perfect name for that, doesn't it?
It does. Boston on the follow. Able to avoid the Geisel Suda.
Natasha Howard anchored the defense with a double-double and 3 blocks. By the final minute, Indiana had completely flipped the game. The crowd was on its feet. The momentum was theirs. And then, everything fell apart. With just 11.7 seconds left, Indiana trailed by 1. They secured a defensive rebound, and instead of calling their final timeout, they pushed the ball up the court. Mitchell, hounded by Dallas defenders, ended up taking a tightly contested jumper in transition. It missed. Dallas grabbed the rebound. Stephanie White finally called timeout, with 1.7 seconds remaining. Far too late to draw up anything meaningful.
They lost the game 81-80, and a lot of people's pointing fingers at none other than Stephanie White for pretty much not calling these timeouts, running the wrong lineup.
And the Fever still had a chance to win. Stephanie White threw it away. Stephanie White, like, I don't like Stephanie White. I just don't like Stephanie White. I can guarantee you this was meant to be some sort of learning experience. I just hate her so much. I hate the fact that she's our team's coach. I genuinely, I don't think Stephanie White's a bad coach.
After the game, White admitted, "I probably should have used it at the 3-second mark."
Did you consider a timeout earlier on that last trip? Did you like your last shot? What all went into that last?
No, I mean, I wanted us to. We knew it was going to be a low clock when we got it out, and we had been really good in transition. So and we were in the penalty. So I wanted us to outlet and attack in transition. When it got to the point where we didn't attack and we just started dribbling sideways, I probably should have used it at the 3-second mark instead of a little bit later. I thought Kels might have had a baseline drive. That she ended up coming back to the middle, and so I didn't like that. But I did want us to push in transition with a low clock and limited opportunity.
It was a rare moment of public accountability from a coach, but it didn't change the fact that this sequence cost them the game. And as bad as that was, it wasn't even the most controversial moment of the night. The calls, or lack of calls, down the stretch had Fever players and fans convinced this game was stolen. Call number 1. Aaliyah Boston fought for position under the rim when the Dallas center clamped her arm. Instead of calling the hold, officials whistled Boston for the foul. On review, the call stood. Even broadcaster Rebecca Lobo said she expected it to be overturned, calling it about as clear as it gets.
So Leroux has 2 hands on Aaliyah Boston's right arm. She then still has Aaliyah Boston's right arm hooked. She's looking for it. Aaliyah can't do anything with her right arm. She can't do anything with her right arm. It's being hooked by Leroux. Leroux turns. You can see, look at Aaliyah's shoulder. Like, her shoulders is what it is. So as the ball's being passed in, Leroux still has her arm hooked. Yanks. Looks like she's trying to yank Aaliyah Boston's arm out of her shoulder socket. The referee calls a foul early. Like, basically, the referee calls a foul because Leroux tries to yank Aaliyah Boston's arm out of her shoulder socket. She tries to dislocate Aaliyah Boston's shoulder, and it is called as an and one. As an and one. And they went to the monitor, and they're literally like, this is an obvious offensive foul. Rebecca Lobo and Ryan Rocourt were just like, yeah, this is an obvious offensive foul. It's obviously an offensive foul. Like, it's fine. Like, they just made the assumption.
Call number 2. Sophie Cunningham was given a flagrant foul for a landing space violation on Paige Beckers. The problem? Earlier in the game, Beckers had committed almost the exact same play and had her call upgraded to a flagrant.
Fever, former star at Indiana, as Beckers gets fouled from behind by Cunningham. And they will review whether or not this is a UConn much more of an equal opportunity offense. Here in the pro, she's going to be more of a focal point.
But when Kelsey Mitchell absorbed identical contact later, there was no whistle at all. Call number 3. In the final minute, Mitchell was held coming off the ball, exactly the kind of off-ball contact Fever players say happens to her on every possession. And still, nothing. After the game, Stephanie White didn't hold back. She told reporters, "Boston is the worst officiated post player in the league. Mitchell is held or chucked on every freaking possession and never gets a call off the ball. If you're going to call it one way, call it both ways."
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a physical game. You know, I think there's a double standard in how people get their calls. I think Kelsey Mitchell, number one, is held or chucked on every freaking possession and never gets a call off the ball. I think Aaliyah Boston is the worst officiated post player in the league. She never gets a call. And you know, there's a double standard there, certainly. But you know, again, if it's going to be physical and you're gonna allow us to be physical, then allow both teams to be physical. If you're going to call the holds and you're going to call the chucks, and you're going to then call it both ways. So I mean, I think that we've been pretty consistent in what we're asking for.
The frustration boiled over. Cunningham was visibly upset after being shoved by Beckers, muttering an expletive before walking away. Even Caitlin Clark, sitting on the bench in street clothes, clapped sarcastically in the direction of referee Amy Bonner after the final buzzer. Boston stepped in during a tense exchange between White and an official, visibly angry, before Clark placed a calming hand on her coach. Afterward, Boston's post-game comments were short but telling. "We need better focus."
I think the physicality level was a little bit different on both sides of the ball, and but for us, really, I think it's got to be our focus. Like, we got to make sure that we're connected on that end.
It was both a self-critique and a shot at the officiating. This wasn't just a loss, it was a robbery. Indiana overcame injuries, foul trouble, and turnovers, only to be beaten by inconsistent officiating. Dallas is a bottom 3 team expected to be playing for draft position, and the Fever needed this win to stabilize their playoff seeding. Instead, they slid to 6th place with only a handful of games left. One stolen game could be the difference between hosting a playoff series or hitting the road early. The league may or may not address the double standard in officiating, but one thing is clear: Boston's fury wasn't just about one game, it was about a pattern, and the Fever won't forget this. So what's your take? Should the WNBA review these officials? And did the Fever do enough to win despite the calls? If you're still watching, drop Rig WNBA in the comments so I know you stayed with us to the end.
I just think that it's like comparing apples and oranges. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
at least
they don't play the same position.
They like doing the like Magic and the Bird comparison. Well, they played similar positions. Like Bird, he played the guard position. Like they at least kind of match up. This, like, what are we doing? I'm not falling into that. I'm not into the comparison. I think that there are a number of things that Angel can improve on, will improve on in the situation she's in. And I think Caitlin Clark has done that even in her first year in terms of, you know, being able to be that floor general. Her and Aaliyah Boston's connection has really improved. And I think the thing about Caitlin, yes, she can shoot from the logo, but she makes her team better.
Candace Parker just crossed the WNBA's unspoken line, and now the anti-Caitlin mob is out for her. In a league where even praising Caitlin Clark can get you blacklisted, this legend isn't backing down.
When we talk about Caitlin Clark, the first time the NCAA game was on ABC was last year. So in order to give something a chance to succeed, don't bury it in NFL Sundays, give it a chance.
If you're here for the truth, drop a trophy emoji in the comments right now so Candace gets the flowers she deserves. Because what Candace just said, and what happened next, isn't just about one player. It's about the battle for the WNBA's future and why standing up for Caitlin Clark now means stepping into a firestorm.
This is Candace Parker, and there was a clip that she was on. She was on like a TV show. They're being asked about the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese rivalry, and as expected, Candace Parker, they have all turned on Candace Parker, and by they I mean, I don't know if they're Angel fans. I don't know. I don't know if they're Angel fans. I don't know how to describe them, because I'm like, I don't exactly know if they are Angel Reese fans or if they are just like bullies and want to just bully a 23-year-old from Iowa.
The fastest rising star in WNBA history, Caitlin Clark, is packing arenas, breaking records, and delivering TV ratings the league hasn't seen before. 4th in MVP voting, rookie season assist record holder, Time Magazine Athlete of the Year.
She has surpassed everybody in the amount of time that she has played in the WNBA. She fills up every arena in every town that she goes to. Teams have to go to bigger arenas so that they can try to profit off the Caitlin Clark train coming to town. Most 20-point 10-assist games in WNBA history, which I think you could say that's a good game. Like that's how you classify. Vandersloot, obviously, 430 games played, had 10 of them. Diana Taurasi, people talk about it as the GOAT, right?
The GOAT.
The
Yeah.
GOAT. The GOAT.
You're damn right.
564. Where'd she go to school?
UConn.
Okay. 565 games played. She has 9 20-point 10-assist games. And then Caitlin Clark, 41 games played. She already has 9 of them. And it's just like, it was very obvious whenever she was in college that she was different, and she seemed to be more exciting than everybody else.
And yet she's still the most targeted player in the game. That's the reality Candace Parker stepped into, because in today's WNBA, there's an unwritten rule. If you praise Caitlin without immediately sprinkling in praise for every other player, you're suddenly part of the problem, and the mob is ready to pounce. Candace has been steady in her praise of Caitlin for months.
Observe your team and see where you can add. Like, Caitlin is one of those people that has a high IQ. So I know she's watching, and I know she's going to come back and make you all that much better. So it honestly is scary, because not only are you allowing other people to step up, but you're allowing Caitlin to then survey and realize how she can add. I said from the get-go, Indiana Fever, scary.
But this week, she didn't just defend Clark. She went straight at the critics pushing the better without Caitlin narrative. And that was enough to trigger a storm. ESPN themselves set the tone during All-Star coverage, skipping 2024 ratings comparisons entirely to avoid showing that without Caitlin on the floor, ratings dropped 36%. That wasn't an accident. It's part of a pattern. Downplay her impact, shift the focus, pretend she's not the reason fans are showing up.
All-Star game ratings from this past weekend was the second most watched WNBA All-Star game ever, behind 2024. No surprise there. The 2025 WNBA All-Star game was the most watched program of the night across all of TV. The night, not the day. With 2.2 million average viewers, up 158% from the 2023 WNBA All-Star Game. This is very similar to the WNBA Draft, comparing it to 2023. Very similar to how they are presenting this graphic. We all know the most watched ever is because of Caitlin Clark, and we all know that the reason that it's up 158% from 2023 is because of Caitlin Clark.
But here's where things really caught fire. On live TV, Candace rated Caitlin Clark as A tier and Angel Reese as C tier. Her reasoning? To be in the top tier, you have to carry a team as a primary option, something Caitlin has already proven she can do. Angel, while an elite rebounder and strong brand builder, hasn't yet matched that level on the court.
What's up, fam? Candace Parker here. I'm gonna do a tier ranking of WNBA players. I'm gonna try. This is where it gets tricky. Caitlin Clark is at an A level. I think in time she's gonna raise up to that S, but in order to put her at that level, she's gotta have a couple more years. So I'll put Kelsey Plum at the A level. 2-time champ, now took on the challenge to be #1 option in LA. I would say KP is definitely in that tier. And then you got Angel Reese. I put her right at that C level. I think in terms of being above, you have to be able to have the ability to carry a team, be a 1 or 2 option. I think Angel Reese is fantastic at her role, which is offensive rebounding. She showed and demonstrated so much growth in that first year.
The reaction was instant and brutal. Angels fans flooded social media accusing Candace of disrespect. Even Cheryl Swoops joined in with thinly veiled shots.
Ironically, Candace Parker is in a little bit of a hot seat right now.
Yeah, she probably shouldn't go to Chicago. You probably shouldn't send her back to Chicago. But go ahead, Jordan.
In this league, if you compliment Caitlyn and don't elevate Angel alongside her, you're branded a hater. But Candace wasn't done. She came armed with receipts. The Fever are 8-5 with Caitlyn in the lineup and 9-9 without her. Every time the better without Caitlyn line comes up, the numbers bury it. She even dismantled ESPN analyst Carolyn Peck's claim that Indiana might be more dangerous without Caitlyn by pointing out the obvious.
Look, I think that Indiana is even more dangerous when Caitlin Clark doesn't play because she's a ball-dominant guard. The ball's in her hands a lot, so you know what you need to try to take away. But when you look at Indiana now, they've got so many weapons. And Kelsey Mitchell is playing out of her mind.
Yes, others have stepped up in her absence, but adding Caitlyn back only makes them better. That's not hating on anyone. That's common sense. And Candace didn't just hold her ground, she doubled down. When pressed, she asked point blank, who are you taking Angel Reese over? Paige Buchers, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum, Aja Wilson, Caitlin Clark, Brianna Stewart, number that doesn't make Angel a bad player. It's just the truth.
The facts that I want to bring to this table, and I challenge anybody to tell me, what player are you taking Angel Reese over of those that I just listed? But what I'm saying is, in what player, and this is no disrespect, these are the greatest players in the game right now. They asked me to rank the tier right now, and just from my point of view, from my opinion, this was the ranking. And so I ask again, are you taking Angel above Paige? Are you taking Angel above Arike? Are you taking Angel above Sabrina or Kelsey or Caitlin or Asia or Nafisa or Brianna? No, that does not make her a bad player.
But in today's WNBA climate, truth comes at a cost. And Candace knew exactly what would happen next. She then turned the spotlight on the players themselves, torching one of the worst All-Star Game performances in recent memory. After players wore Pay Us What You Owe Us shirts, the game that followed was flat, slow, and uninspired. Candace called it a missed opportunity, saying the product on the court should have matched the statement on the shirts.
I won't say All-Star Games because the game, I'm going to be honest with you, Leah, it was awful. But
what do you mean?
The actual game? Are you kidding me? What you mean? What do I mean?
The vibes were high.
Leah, y'all, and hey, listen, I'm going to tell you, you don't have to say anything. So I'm going to preface, I'm going to be your vet. Don't say anything. But y'all cannot come out there with those shirts of pay us what you owe us. Pay us what you owe us. And then do that in the All-Star game. It wasn't the fact that you're doing something to prove why you have to be paid. I think it was just an opportunity to me on one of the biggest stages with those shirts being worn along with giving the product. Because I tried to watch the All-Star game, I'll be honest. But after one slow Euro step and people pulling up for I was like, I can't, I'm a fan of the WNBA and I can't watch this. So I just think that, no, you all didn't have to, but I think it was an opportunity that you could have built on like more momentum.
It was blunt, it was honest, and it was everything the mob didn't want to hear. Candace Parker isn't defending Caitlin Clark for clout. She's doing it because she understands the WNBA's growth depends on stars like Caitlin and on leaders willing to tell the truth even when it's unpopular. While others protect egos or avoid controversy, Candace is playing the long game. She knows that when Caitlin returns healthy, Indiana will be a legitimate contender. And when they're winning exciting games, the fans will show up by the millions. We've already seen it. When Caitlin came back against the Liberty, she delivered one of the most electric performances of the year, and millions tuned in to watch.
Bridge Fieldhouse logo. Caitlin shakes up Rebecca Gardner, driving right lane. Baker, good, plus a foul. Rebound, Fever. Cunningham got knocked to the floor. Caitlin pulls left wing, buries it. She is back. 24-18, Fever down. Caitlin down from the right wing, 30-plus feet. Good again. No one else but Caitlin Clark. Sedantis, handoff. Caitlin from the logo, crosses over, launches. Oh my goodness! Are you kidding?
The most dynamic player in the game. 9 points in 38 seconds for Caitlin. She hit all 3 threes.
This is what leadership looks like. Checking your ego at the door, standing up for what's right, even if it puts a target on your back, and refusing to bend to a mob more interested in short-term point scoring than the league's long-term success. Candace Parker is that leader, and the WNBA would be smart to listen. If you're still watching, drop a trophy emoji in the comments so Candace Parker gets the flowers she's earned. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what happens next, because this fight isn't over.